And then from now we like so.
Great.
Leslie, how are you?
I am great. Thanks for having me, Christian.
Thank you so much for being here with me on a Monday. I know it's extremely busy for you, and I really appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me. I know, especially on a Monday, that you're super busy with your team. I saw you that you had a meeting.
All good. And we're opening an escrow. What more could you ask for?
That's a good Monday.
It is.
When you get an escrow, especially at the beginning of the week, that's the way to do it.
It's a way to start it and finish.
And finish. Yes, definitely. Leslie, you've share with us how long you've been doing real estate and what made you start as a real estate agent. What made you start getting into this crazy business?
That is definitely a crazy business. So I grew up, my parents were in real estate and they were actually property managers. So I kind of figured out what I didn't want to do in the real estate space.
Sure.
And then I went to UNLV and I majored in real estate at the College of Business.
Okay.
And so I worked for a commercial mortgage broker, and then I had children, and then I had lots of children. And so I was a stay-at-home mom. And then when the market turned and my husband was in construction,
Yes.
it afforded the opportunity for me to come back to real estate.
Yes.
And so I went back into real estate as a residential real estate agent, thinking it would provide flexibility. Yes and no.
That was completely wrong.
Totally.
It didn't.
Yes and no. I was able to go to all my kids' soccer games and flag football games and dance competitions, but sometimes I wasn't as present as I wanted to be during them.
Sure.
But it afforded financial stability that we wouldn't have had
Absolutely.
otherwise in that time period of life.
Did college help you get into this business? Because you mentioned that you went into college for real estate. Did that give you a little bit of a advantage against everybody else who was coming into the business at that time where you started?
I think it gives you a unique value proposition to be able to have a degree in real estate.
Sure.
And again, knowledge is never anything that you can waste, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
It did give me some insights. I had a class on appraisals, so I actually know how to read an appraisal.
Okay.
I know how to actually calculate some of those formulas that I think go a little bit above a typical real estate agent's head per se.
100%.
I know how to read a closing statement. So there's, some things that just easily transferred over to me because I was taught that a little differently than maybe a CE class. So it's definitely a good thing to have. Is it necessarily needed? Probably not.
No, I completely get it. But you came in with a little bit of a heads up, let's say.
I did, but at the same point, I kind of came in thinking that I was more of a real estate consultant because
Sure.
I have this degree and I'm not a salesperson. And I think I really had to embrace that you do still have scripts. And
Yes.
as you evolve, they aren't necessarily scripts per se. They're just your conversations.
Sure.
How's the market? How's interest rates? So you have a script. It's your conversation that you have with people to be able to guide and explore and see what their purpose is in asking those questions.
Definitely. Being self-employed, having your own business is very easy to be relaxed at home and not do the things that we're supposed to do, at least for most of the agents or most of self-employed, because we don't have a schedule.
That's why
what
they're
is-
relaxed because they're different.
That's true. What does your daily schedule look like, and how do you structure your day to maximize productivity?
So I think it's different in the sense of maybe like an independent real estate agent versus a team lead.
Yes.
I think when you're looking as a real estate agent, definitely it's your, prospecting, making appointments, negotiating contracts are your priorities, those big rocks that you need to make
Sure.
sure to get, put into your schedule. Team lead, it's similar but different. So when I look at my daily schedule, usually a great day starts the night before. So really
Absolutely.
preparing and knowing what are my big things that I need to do, my A, B, and C. And so that's always going to be, what are the income producing activities that I need to focus on? And then what are the ancillary like great if I get to, and then what are the things that, love to get to, but, I don't know if it's going to necessarily
Sure.
make or break my business
Sure,
per se.
sure.
So I'm looking at what income producing activities, if that's my prospecting for my own transactions, or if it's helping create value, adding team members to the team, recruiting in that aspect of things, or is it a different way to be able to set up systems or processes? So anything that's going to move the business forward.
What were some of the challenges that you saw when you first started your business, and how do you overcome them? I'm sure there's a lot of them. But what is one of the biggest problems that you said, you know what, I really have to attack this?
Biggest challenges that I had to attack. I think I really had to lean into knowing that I don't know how to do everything.
Sure.
And finding the right people to help me fill those things that I don't know. You just don't know what you don't know. And there's other people who are smarter than I am, who have done it well and succeeded, or have failed miserably, and are here to help move you forward. So I think making sure that you can align with those people, where to find those people, and really trust that they're going to move your business forward too.
On that note, that's very important that you say that. Are you? Do you believe in coaching?
I definitely believe in coaching. So I think it's an investment in yourself. It's an investment in your business. I did not have coaching for a while when I first started. We honestly wasn't in a position or could afford to have coaching. And once I got to that point in my career, I am very grateful that that's really the catalyst, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
I've been able to network with people that are, just a little bit further along in the process.
Very, very,
and I
very
can
important.
see what and how they've done that and who they've done it with. And so that's been a huge win, is being able to find the right coach for the right season, and knowing that they're all helping us do better. And really, it just like a personal trainer, it pushes you further than you would have done it on your own.
And also, you're coachable. I mean, you have that mindset of like, I don't know everything. Let me find somebody else that could help me out. With this very difficult business that we're in, because most people don't understand what goes on behind the lines of handling a transaction, especially you having a team and dealing not only with your clients, but also your agents. How do you deal with stress?
How do you deal with stress in this industry? Well, I do not drink, so that's probably a unique thing that most of the agents deal with it.
Yes.
But definitely, I think, trying to exercise a little bit, step away, and really recognizing what the purpose is and why I'm doing this, and knowing how to be able to, it's okay to step away for an hour or two and really probably regroup to be able to be a stronger person to come back, and how to attack a problem. So I think sometimes when it gets really challenging, I just need to step away for a moment, breathe through it, find something else to be able to put my efforts in, and then I can come back a little bit fresh and renewed to really figure out the challenge.
That's a great answer, by the way. As you have a family and everything, how do you balance family, work? Because our job doesn't end at 5. We will love it to. It never does. How do you balance that with family activities and Saturdays and Sundays being one of the busiest days for real estate agents? How do you find that balance, or do you even have a balance when it comes to that?
Yes, I think there's, that misconception of this work-life balance is a little bit of illusion. I think sometimes I feel like it's more of whack-a-mole as far as,
Absolutely.
who is, needs you the most at what particular time. But nothing has helped me set boundaries in my business than my family. Okay. And knowing that I have to, or need to, or I've committed to show up for my family in a certain way, then,
it's non-negotiable.
Then it's non-negotiable. Yes. But at the same point, there's times where I've got a client coming in from out of town and I have to, that's the priority for the next 3 to 4 hours. So you just really have to know how to navigate those different obligations well and really set those boundaries for your mental health.
Mental health is very important in this business for sure. Another question that I wrote here for you is what are some key habits that contributed to your success? We could talk about scheduling but what are some of the things that you can say, you know what, this thing right here really helped me to get to the next level?
I really do feel like coaching has really pushed me
100%.
forward in ways that I wouldn't have done on my own.
Absolutely.
But I think investing in those systems and processes as real estate agents, and especially successful agents that are solo, we know how to do things well. We have expertise. We have, some battle wounds and scars.
Definitely.
But knowing how to get those things out of your head and onto some type of a checklist, because they're repetitive and you do them day in and day out, transaction after transaction. I mean, every transaction's a fingerprint. And so there's always going to be things that come up that are different. But for the most part, the paperwork, the process, when this happens, then that happens. And so my goal was to be able to not think as much. And so if I had it documented, then I didn't have to exert mental power knowing that I had to think what comes next because it's all documented. So I think that's a big win for an agent on a team, is to affiliate with somebody that has all those systems documented, because when you're a newer agent, you just don't know what you don't know. And when you have those listed out, then you at least have an idea of what to expect, even though things can, vary from transaction to transaction.
And what most people don't know is that in order to get those systems and those checklists in place, it takes a lot of deals, a lot of trial and error to get them to, an easy system to follow.
Right.
After you telling me all of this and being the repetitiveness of this business, everything is the same, but it's not really. How do you keep motivated? In a very when it's good, it's great, right? But how do you keep motivated when things are not going your way? When the market is hard, the interest rates are a certain way, or there is not enough inventory, and then you have to come in as a team leader and motivate your agents, saying, "Hey, listen, we got to get through this." How do you personally get motivated?
I really feel when there's a lot of challenges, that's when there's a lot of opportunities.
Sure.
And so that's where I really want to find the opportunities and never be defined by a trial.
Yes.
And that's where you really have to lean into probably your coaching systems, your brokers, your, other people who have different mindsets, to be able to find those opportunities and those silver linings that maybe you're just being overlooked because there's a lot of hard that happens. And, yes, it's hard with interest rates. It's hard with low inventory, but realistically in life overall,
it's okay.
People are dealing with a lot more hard than we are. And, people are always going to have to buy or sell a home because of life events and relocations. And so you just have to be able to know how to present your value to those people and secure them as clients.
Can you a lot of agents, I see that they go to a lot of networks events. I know that you spend a lot of time going to different places, meeting with a lot of masterminds. Mm-hmm. What's the importance of networking in your business, and what's the big impact that it has done on your business?
I love being able to connect with like-minded people, and that's where collectively you find opportunities and you push each other to do more than you would have done on your own. And really there are a lot of opportunities to be able to find the who's. It's really not who or not how, it's who. And so connecting with those right who's makes a world of difference. Not only, I feel like, in your business, but opportunities for the agents on your team and just in life. I think that's the ability that it's just that one person that can change the trajectory of your life.
I started coaching back in in 2017. Same thing. I didn't. First of all, I didn't have the money to get some coaching, but finally I gathered some money, and it was all the money that I had left. And one of the things that my coach at the time told me was time management. You have to have time management. Do you have a schedule for your business every day? Do you have certain hours that you go from this hour to this hour? I'm going to do this regardless of whatever happens, or try at least to do that.
Well, ironically, that was my coaching assignment this week.
There you go.
So today it is all like laid out because I know a lot of times I put those big things in.
Sure.
But if I start to get very granular, then it really forces me to make sure those granular things get done.
Yes.
And I am a big advocate of accountability.
Absolutely.
And if I have to be accountable to myself and I'm like behind in my schedule, because who doesn't like to play the game, let's
Everybody
beat
does.
the GPS, right?
Yes,
so
absolutely.
if I can get ahead of my schedule, then I feel like, I'm kind of winning my day. And so it's been, and again, just even today, just putting all the things in my schedule of what I need to do is, I can tell my day is moving better, and it's, helping not just myself, the agents that I've connected with today, being able to be a part of the podcast,
Yeah.
and, the emails that I know I need to navigate later on, but I put them purposely in my schedule towards the end of the day.
But it's like you said, too, you also prepare your day from the day before. So you don't come in looking at stuff. You already have a plan. You have a map. You're going to go through with it. You're going to make that happen.
Correct.
What are some of the most valuable lessons you learned as a business owner, entrepreneur? Something that really sticks out and says, you know what? Yeah, if I wouldn't have been a business owner, I would have never learned this.
I think lessons that you learn as an entrepreneur is knowing that done is better than perfect, and
Done is better.
that knowing that you have to try and you're going to fail, and it's not fun because I do not like to.
Well, hold on. Let's talk about that.
Okay, let's go.
Let's talk about that. As an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you are going to fail.
You should fail.
If you're not failing,
Right.
If you're not failing, you're not doing enough,
Right.
correct?
Totally.
How do you recover from failing every day? That's one of the things I tell my agents. If you don't fail every day, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. How mentally do you tell your agents, hey, listen, it's okay. You just got to keep on doing it, because it's very hard.
It is hard, and I think that's one of the skill sets you develop in real
Absolutely.
estate and sales is you get some thicker skin.
Yes.
And as I've shifted from an agent who has, got all kinds of colorful language on phone calls and, follow-ups and whatnot, door knocking, open house,
Yes.
questionable, characters that have come through.
I'm sure.
But at the same point now as a team, lead and building that type of a business, it's also challenging when
Sure.
you have agents
Very.
that come and go and, staff and things don't align how
Yes.
you anticipated. And
They almost never
and-
do either.
And it's,
Yeah.
and it's fine. I just hope every agent that comes through or anybody that navigates through the Stewart team, I hope that it's, you leave a better,
A better agent.
a better agent, a better experience, and you learn too. I know I do.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the thing. Like, you just have to keep showing up and failing forward and knowing you just are, it's part of the process, and kind of embrace it.
Yes.
To be able to
part of the
know,
show.
like, hey, I'm trying the best that I can.
Yeah.
Some days I'm sure are better than others, but at the end of the day, I can say, like, hey, I'm here, I'm doing it, and you can look at probably 95% of our industry, and that's what sets us apart, because
Yes.
we keep coming and we keep showing
Keep
up.
showing
and
up.
we
It's
keep,
half of it.
we're crazy, I
Yes.
guess, but here we are, and this is where it's been fun to be able to see the successes that we've had personally, but also that the opportunities you're able to provide for others.
How do you approach decision making in business when you have to make a big decision? I know for myself, sometimes I overthink, and that's actually very paralyzing. But if you were going to make a big decision on your business, in your team, What do you do? Do you talk to coaches? Do do you think about it when you go to sleep? What is your process in making a big change to your business?
I flip a coin. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, you definitely want to be able to. There's some dissonance. There's a reason why you're making a decision, or you're being pushed
Yes.
to make a decision. So you've got to kind of identify, like, what is the circumstance that we need to change. And so then, depending on what it is, if it's, technology, if it's staff, if it's coaching, really just be able to, like, sit with it for a little bit. I'm not somebody that really, like, I want to make irrational
Yes.
decisions and on the spur of the moment. But at the same point, decisions have to be made. And so I want to be able to move things forward well and not lose time trying to, like, ponder too much. Like, at some point, the decision just has to be made. And if it's the wrong decision, then we course correct at the end of the day.
What do they call it? Like paralysis analysis?
Yeah.
You overthinking. That's something that I'm very guilty of. How do you keep up with the industry trends and stay ahead of the competition? And these things are always moving in our industry. So how do we keep up with it?
Yeah, that is definitely the only constant that we have.
Yes.
I feel in the real estate industry, there's always change. And it can change from, the beginning of the week to the end of the week. The
Absolutely.
interest rates can, kind of do up and
Yep.
down and, whatnot. We can have a new lawsuit that, like, pops out or what have you. But really, I'm sure it's just, I enjoy when I get ready in the morning, I listen to a lot of different podcasts from,
Yes.
Real estate to faith to church to storytelling. So I've got kind of a wide, I guess, variety.
Yes.
But I think it's being able to really be connected with agents within your office, within your market, and nationwide. So I think that's where these mastermind groups have come in. And I really do utilize a lot of agents that I've been in coaching groups as my board of directors. And
Nice.
so I call them as, sometimes we have some emergency meetings and, like, hey, I need to call an emergency meeting because I've got this circumstance, and they're close enough to me and my business, but yet distant enough. And
To have a little different
trust them that, they're not going to jump in the pool with me and my emotional aspect of it. They're going to, as a
Very
business
important.
owner, here is, kind of what we're seeing, or here's a different, like, perspective on it. So at least you can make business decisions and not emotional decisions.
That's super important that you have that input from other agents outside of Las Vegas because they're different markets. So they're seeing different things, but some of the things that they're probably seeing, we haven't seen already. And so they can give you a better input of what's going on.
Likewise.
If you, likewise too, what are the top 3 skills you believe are essential to be a real estate agent in today's market? Because it was different when I started, but in today's market,
Yes.
what do you, if you were to, or when you're interviewing your agents, and I know that you do a lot of interviewing, what are some of the 3 things that you could say, listen, you need these 3 skills to even make it in this business?
Definitely. So first of all, for the foundation for the Stewart team, we have to have integrity.
Yes.
Very
important.
I
Very important.
definitely want to make sure that there's no, issues. I want to be able to show up as best as we possibly can.
Yes.
I'm sure there's always probably shades of gray in any, like,
Absolutely.
conversation that you can have, but knowing what the intentions are of the team, myself, the agents, and we're really all working towards that common goal. But I think the next thing is showing up. I mean, it just
so
sounds
important.
like
It's so
really
important.
basic.
It's so
but
important. So
you
important.
have to lean in to the team and the systems and the opportunity. And I feel that I wish I would have had an opportunity to affiliate with a team that had as much insight and coaching as well. So I think and then kind of coupling that with the showing up is the tech stack that that's what you have to have in order to be a successful agent in this industry, that you really have to know how to utilize a tech stack in your favor, because the days I feel of, networking and following up with like an Excel spreadsheet, I just don't think you're going to be able to hang tight as good of an agent as you are and as many relationships that you have.
Absolutely. Not if you want to do it as at a professional major level. That's very important. Systems in place are, if you don't have them. Now that I have them, when I didn't have them before, I go, well, I wasn't in business. I was just hustling. And
Right.
now now when I have this system, not an Excel sheet, but like a real system, now
Yeah.
I'm in business. How do you deal with keeping culture in your team? Having there's always going to be somebody that doesn't really fit in. What do you do with those agents that don't drink the Kool-Aid of the Stewart team? Which, because that's what I tell my agents. You have to drink my Kool-Aid. What do you do in those situations?
So, first of all, I want to be able to make sure that, they're on the team for a reason.
Yes.
And what that, goal and mission statement is for all of us. And knowing that affiliating with the team, I want to be able to help you attain those goals quicker,
Yeah.
faster, and more fun. Have more fun doing it.
Absolutely.
But at the same point, there comes, I think this is maybe a challenge that a lot of teams face, is the accountability. And
Yes.
that's where I know that's why I'm in coaching, because if I have accountability, then I show up and I do what I'm supposed to do. If it's just me on my own, I can't say things get done as quite as they should. And so having that accountability to be able to coach you to your goals
Yes.
is what we want to be able to provide. And if your actions and the goals that you have set aren't in alignment and there's dissonance, then something's got to change.
Something's got to change.
And that's, yours as the agent to know what that is. But we're here to help you, move that through. But I think it's being able to either coach you into your goals or coach you out to your own ideas and possibilities.
What advice? Yeah. What advice would you give anybody who's starting in real estate? Let's say I come in. I'm a brand new agent. I used to have a 9 to 5. I interview with the Leslie Stewart team. What message would you give me day one?
I would say, regardless if you join the Stewart team or another team,
Yeah.
join a team. Like,
Very important.
in this industry, I just don't know how a brand new agent has the ability to learn the business itself
Yes.
at the level that you need to, let alone you usually don't have the funds to be able to invest in the tech
Very
stack that
true.
is going to be needed
Very
in the
true.
future. And it really provides an opportunity for running a business. So I think a new agent, you want to make sure that, you have the right expectations, and you really do want to have a good probably 6 months of savings, because the reality is you can't Amazon Prime a house yet. You may be able to soon.
So true.
But those, leads that come in, your skill sets aren't very high. And I understand it's challenging because you have a lot of fees that you've paid. You've paid fees for school, you've paid fees for licensing, you've paid fees for the MLS. But it's going to take probably a good 3 to 6-ish months before you're seeing
If you're
that
good,
first,
by the way.
Yeah. And you're showing up.
Yes.
And so I think knowing that, just having those right expectations, but if you're doing all the things that you need to be doing at a quicker pace and a more aggressive pace, then obviously your curve to learn and your first paycheck is going to be less, but it depends on how much you're going to show up.
And also depends having a team that has all of the systems in place and the team leader to show up, because that's important. You know what I mean?
That's the challenge. And that's where, I've interviewed agents too, where they've come from other teams and they don't have team meetings. They don't have team events. They don't have any accountability measures on it. They're just taking an agent to be able to add another one to maybe their little hamster wheel.
Yes.
Until they get burnt out, and then they just put a new little hamster in there and they kind of, say good riddance, where I feel that I pour into the agents and them as people a lot more than maybe most team leads would.
No, definitely, definitely. In a very very stressful and long business where you can spend a lot of time with a client and nothing will happen with a
can.
client, right? It can. I mean, hopefully you get to a point where you can actually do it faster, but it's real estate, so we don't know. When you have a failure, which, like I said, we talked about earlier, we fail every day. When you're in escrow and all of a sudden that cancels and you spend X amount of time, especially not for us maybe, but maybe for an agent, what do you tell your agents when something goes extremely bad, meaning there's a cancellation of escrow? As an agent, you're counting with that money already. You have no money. How do you help them out in regards to mindset and saying, hey, listen, it's okay? What do you tell them?
Well, hopefully, before they even get to that point,
Yes.
their pipeline is built up enough
Very important.
that they
Very
don't have
important.
to worry about it.
Yes.
Because you generate so you don't have to tolerate. And so you want to be able.
Hold on. Say that one more time. Say that one more time, Leslie.
For the people in the back,
Yes.
you want to generate so you don't have to tolerate. And that is
great.
where you want to be able to. Nothing gives me greater joy than having a newer agent fire a client.
Okay.
Because they have enough generated that they do not have to tolerate. And I do not want any of the agents on my team ever to have to tolerate a client that they should not have to work with. And it's their business. And I totally gift them that opportunity. And I'm going to stand by them because it's their business, and their integrity and their value is worth more than whatever that check is. I don't care if it's $3,000, $30,000, $300,000. You cannot put a price on that, in my opinion.
Now, let me ask you this. I agree with that 100%. I think that's a great, I'm going to steal this line from you, by the way, is you have to generate so you don't have to tolerate. What happens when you're not generating, though?
Then you go prospect. And so that's the thing. Like, whenever I have really like a bad day or something does fall out of escrow, it kind of gets a little fire in me.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, great. That is sucktastic.
Yes.
So what am I going to go do? Guess what? I am not above getting on those phones and making things happen and making those calls. And I feel, karma, fate, faith, whatever, I'm going to be rewarded like 2, 3, 4 fold.
Sure, law of attraction, absolutely.
Somebody who appreciates and understands the value and what I can bring and how we can change their lives and create wealth through real estate.
Yes.
Those people are going to come to us.
Yes.
And know, that person who's really challenging and nitpicky and think that you're doing things wrong and are going to make your life difficult. I don't need that in my life, in the business. My agents don't need that. We're going to attract those people who appreciate and want to move forward with us.
And that's why you generate so you don't have to tolerate.
Correct.
Leslie, thank you so much. One big question before we go, and I really appreciate you spending this time on this very busy day. What future goals do you have for your business, and how do you plan to achieve them?
Future goals.
Yes.
So definitely I'm loving the opportunity trying to build and grow the team. And it's not necessarily for me by any means, but I love being able to change people's lives and expedite their opportunity to grow as a real estate agent and see how they're affecting their clients and their lives are being changed because of the financial opportunities that are here in this
100%,
space.
100%.
If you lean into, what somebody has already built through those blood, sweat, and tears.
Absolutely.
And so to me, that's, the bigger vision that I have, but ultimately love the opportunity that I'm building something that I can actually retire from.
Yes.
I know my coach always likes to say that typically a real estate agent's retirement party is a funeral. And I prefer not to have that. I would like to be able to actually build something that I can sell and, provide a great opportunity. I didn't have an opportunity to buy into a real estate business. That wasn't even a thing.
No.
And so I feel that that's, to be able to build something like that, it's pretty amazing.
Well, Leslie, thank you so much for coming in here. This was great.
Love
This was
it.
a lot of fun, and you gave us a lot of great value. I'm gonna steal half of this stuff, and I'm gonna take it from
Totally
my own thing.
fine.
Thank you so
You
much.
can. Perfect.
Thank you so much, Leslie.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.